You guys want me to
Push
do
the
my?
you push the buttons, you do the thing.
What?
Hello, everybody in Facebook Live land. We are the Podguyz podcast, bringing it to you live as we do every Monday, 10:15 Eastern Standard Time, on time, every time, as we do. I'm Tony Kaz.
Kevin Neary here.
Of course, we have the ever-loving Picasso. Jesse, you are going to learn today why he is called the show's Picasso.
Yeah, Sparky is one of the most detailed drawers of real time, live in action. And these drawings are they're something of a masterpiece every time. He kind of draws what we're talking about, and in great graphic detail that would make Stan Lee himself blush. Now, Stan Lee was not the illustrator; it would just make him blush.
True.
Liz Sparky.
Okay.
And Sparky says, what will be longer? Senate voting on the BBB, that is the big, beautiful bill. I'll, fill in the blanks there. P. Diddy's jury deliberation, or me saying hi. Oh, I think,
shit.
Oh, right.
Oh, man.
So P. Diddy's
Decisions.
Wait, the jury is already at deliberation with P. Diddy. Is that true?
Not only are they at deliberation, but apparently one of the jurors is causing a ruckus to where they can't make a definitive decision because of one juror. And there's speculation, according to TMZ, I believe earlier today. I don't want to be 100%, authority on this, but I believe that they were saying that maybe P. Diddy got to said juror A, or B, that said juror is just mentally unstable because of the way he's acting.
It might be Tupac in disguise.
Always a possibility.
I'm leaving it on the table.
Coming back from the grave.
It's staying on the table. Tupac faked his death just to get on the jury of P. Diddy and cause a ruckus. That's a possibility.
I think Olivia Newton-John's wife did that.
That could be a thing.
Yeah, why not? Why not? And what was the other one?
We are joined by a fourth square today, by the way, Kevin.
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
He is the very talented, the very funny Jesse Gambino.
Hello, everybody. How you doing? I'm the Heavy Don, Jesse Gambino. I'm from upstate New York. I've been involved in several incidents in which I cannot talk about. I've done several things.
Forget about it, Jesse.
The Gambino alleged crime family, right?
I heard things.
Look, you hear things. You got to get the sausage.
He was a great guy. What about the murders? What murders?
No body, no witness, no evidence.
Yeah,
no
body, no problems, no gabagool.
Right. Now, Jesse, you might make the streak continue, but I have a theory that there is no such thing as an Italian person that doesn't claim to have some connections to the mafia. So, Jesse, did anyone ever in your family have some connections to the mafia?
I cannot confirm nor deny this question.
The streak continues, Tony.
It sounded legit.
It continues. I'm taking that as a check mark.
Take it as a win.
Cheers for that idea right there. So, Jesse, how long have you been doing stand-up comedy?
I've been doing stand-up comedy for 15 years, coming next month, actually. It's actually the longest thing that I've done in my entire life. So
mine is masturbation for a consecutive amount of seconds.
Yeah. I'm not really big on that. Like, I don't like the, I'm fat and I sweat a lot in general.
It's okay. So, lift the fupa and then just,
it's not. I don't have to do the whole lift the fupa thing because it is big. Like, it's rather, it's girthy. It's got some bulk to it. You know what I mean?
You got some meat under there.
You know what I mean? This frame isn't just this frame for a reason.
Jesse, you're describing now. For everybody just tuning in, everyone thinks that you're describing a Quato. But what he was doing was a fucking dick, okay? Because he's like, it's got fucking hands. It could read the future. It's like, dude, that's a Quato. I don't know what you know.
Listen, let me tell you something about my piece of dough. My piece of dough can do some things.
I bet. That's yeah. Well, you got a lot of Griffey stuff going on there. What are you, a big Ken Griffey fan, right?
I'm a huge Ken Griffey Jr. fan. I have about 332 different items of Ken Griffey Jr. I have.
What is the weirdest item that you have of Kevin Griffey Jr.'s?
I'm gonna honestly say dress socks because I don't really wear dress socks in general.
Okay.
They're usually too big, or rather, they're usually too small to put around.
Too dressy, too tight.
Too tight, yes. And like like when I try to wear them, they're not really stylish. Whereas everything else that I have is either stylish or it's just memorabilia that I show off to the less fortunate.
Much like Sparky does, he has Star Wars dress socks as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now there was another thing on Sparky's board there, something about the big, beautiful bill that's going on right now in the world of politics, where there are a lot of discussions about cuts to Medicaid, Medicare. Now, Medicaid, last I checked, was a state program partially funded by federal grant money coming in. But federal grant money is always supposed to be temporary until the states can find a way to stabilize the situation throughout their own taxes. But what has happened throughout the years is they've kept the federal grant money, which is normally known as pork in certain congressional bills, which everyone's against. But until they say, well, they're going to cut Medicaid, and then your sloppy neighbor that hasn't worked in a while, that is just unhealthy over there, and he can't work, well, they're going to cut his Medicaid and force him to work 20 hours a week to keep it. So the problem with that whole idea is that if somebody has been cleared for Medicaid unhealthy enough, why ever you think that shipping them off to a McDonald's 60 miles away on a bus trip to work 20 hours a week, this is the welfare to work
so they
program
can get heart
expanded.
disease at a McDonald's.
It's yeah. You know what you should do? You should allow them to work from home since they're home all the time. Why can't they be the people that call me up about my extended warranty I didn't buy? Instead I have to hear an Indian guy that I can't understand try to rip me off. I want an American on that end of the line.
I know. I want an American to rip me off.
Yeah. I mean, they're already ripping off the system being on Medicaid anyways for way too long. At least get them on the goddamn phones asking people if they want to sign up for Geico or whatever the fuck bullshit that they're on. How do you feel about that, Jesse?
I agree with you. Like, first off, even though I'm not a Donald Trump supporter, and I don't believe a capitalist should be president of the United States, as it's a conflict of interest. But as a capitalist, if I was president of the United States, it would be the United States of Asia. I would definitely just run things and take things over, and people wouldn't like it and all that good stuff. So to answer your question, I agree. Like, we should definitely have more American-made jobs, more American-made factories. We should stop outsourcing to other countries, which would result in less times being threatened by a country for a tariff, which is, ridiculous in itself. So yeah, I totally agree with you on that. Like, I definitely don't want to hear, Atmanon contacting me all the time from, the Middle East.
Yeah. How dare they? How did they get your phone number, Jesse, to begin with? Right, Tony?
That's even crazier.
That's the worst part. I mean, sure, I do sign up for everything no matter what, and I don't read the small print of anything ever. And, terms of services, when they do update, I click agree just to get rid of the screen on the double. But besides that, I have no idea how they got my information or sold it to anybody else. Sparky,
exactly.
what is Sparky? What are the big details that everyone's really mad about in the big beautiful bill? I know that you are very sharp and on the whole idea right about now. If you don't mind laying some words of wisdom on us there, Sparky.
Ooh,
Or Tony.
got quite the plethora of stories,
Yeah.
by the way.
Yeah, he is sharp on hand. Tony, what is the big policy right now that everybody's like really, because I think that the one is no tax on tips, right?
No tax on tips. Yep.
Yeah, no Medicare and SNAP programs. Now, okay, so Medicare and SNAP programs. Those are the big cuts, and they're called fraudulent cuts to Medicare and SNAP programs and all that nice stuff. Jesse, have you ever been on any form of welfare before?
Absolutely.
I,
I when I was younger, my then fiance passed away, which then I moved out of the apartment that we were sharing, and I had to go through the whole process of going on welfare and getting insurance through the state and all that other stuff, because I kind of just chose not to. Whoa, excuse me.
Not to whoa.
all right, that's got to be an Obama phone. I'm guessing. Am I right? Because that phone just fucking took a dive right there.
Took a terrible, crazy dive. I don't know how that happened, but yeah. So getting back to my story, I had to go through that whole process, and it was rather aggravating. Like, if you're gonna cut it, like, don't make it as aggravating as it is. Like, people are there for a reason. They're not there because they want to be there. I'll say that it's a humbling experience to have to bring yourself to those places, because for some reason every time those people that run that shop, like, they must be millionaires, because the way that they look down and talk to the people that need help is beyond egregious. Like, it's disgusting.
Well, when
And
people have money, and let's we'll air the dirty air. When
right.
people have money, people don't care about the people that don't have money, and the people that don't have money don't care about the people that have money, because they all want to be that other person. Now, when you're in the government and you've lost track of what's happening with the people who vote for you. And that's all it is. It's just a rationalization of lost souls that are so out of touch with the natural public, and they have no idea, and I say zero idea, on how to reach that particular, you know, that whole situation,
Demographic.
that whole demographic.
Yes.
I feel like when you talk about and especially multimillionaires, billionaires almost, at some point in time. Sparky, that echo, man. Oh. When you get to that point where millionaires and billionaires talk about spending money that is not necessarily theirs, it is the state and the federal government and everybody else's money that has been introduced to it. I find that really, really, really discerning.
I agree, which is why I live my life by a quote. I don't remember who said the quote, but it's always been, I'm not willing to build somebody else's dream.
So Jesse, are you still on assistance right now or no?
No, I haven't been on assistance in many, many, many years. I did need it for a while.
How long were you on it, if you don't mind me asking?
I would say at least 4 or 5 years. And I'll say that because I played a lot of sports growing up, so I had a lot of injuries. So I had to deal with the injuries, my then fiance passing away, as well as after the injuries, I had several. I ended up going and having a really bad infection when I had one of the fat people surgeries that is out there.
I have the fat people surgeries, no problem. What I actually had an idea of, right, is to give everybody free liposuction and give their fat to the starving countries over wherever the people are starving at. So we donate the fat to the people that don't have the fat, and we take the fat away. Call me a communist if you want, but I think this idea is outstanding. You see,
No, Kevin, what would you call that program? Would it be called like Flesh for Friends or
Fats for Flats?
Fats for Flats?
Yeah.
Listen, you could send them the losing, football team Super Bowl T-shirt and a bag of fat.
Yeah, there's a select group in Ethiopia right now that thinks that the Buffalo Bills have just been on a dynasty run for the longest time.
That's true.
Right.
Yeah, it is a weird thing. Now, personally, myself, Jesse, I've never been on assistance. I was told that I was too fat for food stamps before. I made too much money high off the hog after the government decided to shut down a apartment building that I was living in at the time, a boarding room facility that I was living in at the time. They said this place is unlivable, so they shut it down with absolutely nowhere for us to go besides to the welfare office. And Section 8 said, wait a second, sir, you make way too much money right now. And at that time, I was making $12 an hour managing a pizza place. And they said, since you own your own car, which, by the way, was a 99 Ford Taurus.
You can live in it.
They said, since you own your own car, you own personal property. So you're deemed to be too rich. Now, if I leased a brand new car, that is not my property. That is the bank's property. That counts the bill. And I would have a brand new car and be eligible for the welfare that they told me I was too high in the hog for because I had car ownership. So I got to live in my car for a little bit. And I lived in the parking lot at the pizza place that I managed and walked around on days off and waited for another boarding room facility to open up. And then I got a second job as well because I wanted to make sure I was financially secure enough for that to never happen again, which, you get a second job, you start stacking up some cash, you work some crazy hours for an indefinite amount of time. And the boarding room facility that I did live at, trust me, it was weekly ripoff time. It was about $200 a week for a shared room, shared living room, shared bathroom, the whole goddamn thing. All the while, the government had the audacity to say that I made too much money. Well, fuck them and fuck anybody that says, oh, well, I can't pick myself up. I've had people die in my life that were close to me, and it's a heartbreaking thing. You drink yourself to death over it, too. It's the worst to some degree.
There was a funny video,
Kevin. Out there that make fucking Medicaid. There are people out there that make welfare into a fucking business like it's something to goddamn do. For every hour I have to work in somebody else's hour that they don't have to work, they're over there getting something over on me, is how I see it sometimes. Just emotionally. It's just emotions. But Tony, what were you saying, buddy?
There's a funny video that surfaced online. It got it went super, super viral. And it was this lady who I guess was on welfare, and she had bought a new Mercedes-Benz.
Mm-hmm.
Now she was getting food stamps, she was getting stuff for her kids, she was getting housing assistance, she was getting SNAP benefit, she got everything, insurance, like the whole fucking nine.
Good for her.
Somebody snitched on her.
Well,
said that she was getting YouTube money. Well, they said that she was getting YouTube money and that she bought the Benz with some YouTube money, and she got everything fucking canceled on her.
Wow.
Heaven forbid somebody steal from the government as the government has stolen from everybody.
Well, that's like Jesse. That's like a tit for tat kind of issue right there. if we're supposed to be against the greedy who are billionaires, we should also be against the greedy who would cut your throat over getting a 25-cent raise over them at the fucking local Burger King. Because if you've ever worked a shitty job and somebody wants to play scumbag politics, you see greed in all spectrums, and the green pops up in somebody's eyes, and they'd rather fuck you over than even help you out in any scenario or situation. It's terrible.
I agree. I definitely agree. It's more of an uphill battle and a fish swimming upstream issue. But with that being said, you kind of have to, unfortunately, the 99 percentile that, we have to be kind of pirates and bandits. Like, we kind of, as much as I fucking hate spaghetti westerns, we gotta act like Doc Holliday at times, because
We need to be more like Star Wars.
Yeah,
The best spaghetti western out there.
I'm just
So Jesse, how many
it's
people
filled with incest?
What's that?
I said it's filled with incest and buccaneering.
It is, which is definitely, I kind of feel like it's more like the Arkansas, Mississippi part of this
It could
rock.
be.
But, we're not discounting them, because Ole Miss is they're a decent football team. Good for them.
True. Sparky, what do you got on the big board? The only person that needs assistance is Malik Beasley. Hey, Malik, you may need glasses because you were missing shots like as if you had the over-under. Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, Malik is in trouble.
What's going on with Malik Beasley?
So what happened was I guess he's getting investigated because there was an over-under on the amount of rebounds that he was supposed to get, which was 2.5, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
2.5. He had 3 in the first quarter he played.
That's very rare for Malik Beasley.
Yeah.
And by the way, there are 340 million people in America right now. That means 3.3 million, the 1% that we all talk about. 1% sounds like a really small number, but when you take the whole grasp of it, it's 3.3 million people have a majority of 1% of the wealth. That's still a lot of people. That's still a good clip of people. But Malik Beasley, to fix the stat, I think. Listen, man, I've come out ahead. It's a toss of the coin when it comes to rebounds. I saw Jermaine Grant, right? Portland Trailblazers. It was over 3.5. And at the end of the game, somebody missed a foul shot, and the ball went rolling towards him. He's got 3 rebounds. There's fucking 5, 4, 3, 2. He picks it up, right? He picks it
Rebound.
up. Give it to the ref. Boom, counts as a fucking rebound.
Yeah.
And he looks like he wasn't supposed to do that. He's looking around like, oh fuck. Oh fuck. What did I just do?
Same thing happened with Beasley on his third rebound.
I'm watching the game. I'm like, yeah, he got the fucking rebound.
Yeah. On Beasley's third rebound in that game, it bounced off the rim, hit the ground, and everybody else was down court.
Yeah.
And he's the only one standing around like that.
He's looking at the ref. The ref blows the whistle. The ref blows the whistle. Ghost fall. The refs are betting on him too.
Yeah.
It's rather funny. Like, he really didn't gamble that much to get caught. Like, that's the crazy part.
How much did he bet again, Tony?
I don't know if somebody bet for him, but that was his over under.
Oh yeah,
2.5.
They got surrogates out there, man. People just
oh god,
around.
yeah.
No, but I mean, he only put up $50, and he lost because apparently it paid like I think it was supposed to pay like $1,500 if he had gotten what he needed.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the latest that they said on ESPN when I was watching it earlier today.
Oh, that's great.
$50. Oh man.
Whatever. That's fucking chump change.
Let the guy live a little bit, you know.
Now let's talk about the shit show. If we're gonna talk about shitty betting, how about Paul Logan, Paul? Yeah, Logan Paul.
Oh man, I don't even tell me.
Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.
I bet $5 on Chavez Jr. Just it was a fuck you bet. You know, I threw $5.
It was a
on
fuck
him.
you bet. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't stand Logan Paul or Jake Paul. I think they're both scumbags. Like
They are
honestly,
scumbags. Yeah.
Honestly, I would love to, challenge them to an MMA fight right now if they ever want to accept it, because I would love to just rock either one of them.
Now here's the funny situation, and not necessarily that this is every opponent that of course the Paul brothers have ever particularly gone against, but even in his past, I want to say 4 fights, maybe even 5 fights, the one where he actually lost against who was that? Tommy.
You got me. I tried whenever they're fighting, I try my best to ignore it, because they're kind of destroying the whole idea of boxing. They're turning it into a circus. And not to say that there wasn't some promotional value to boxing regardless, but it's just I don't know, man. It's tough. They're fighting guys that are either washed up, close to 40 years old, or out of their weight class. And at that point, I might as well just, watch the local bully who's...
Oh, Tommy Fury. That's who it was.
Tommy Fury. And he beat Tommy Fury, right?
No. Tommy Fury beat him.
Okay. All right. As he should. I mean, it's just...
Well, yeah.
But
the ghost of Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Now he's the son of the world champ. And if you looked at him, even in the fight, who in their oh my god, I hate it when boxers go like this. You have your hands up.
Mm-hmm.
What are you blocking when you're doing this?
I'm not a boxer, so I couldn't even give you that answer.
Yeah, well, you're blocking for the hook shots, okay?
And
when you're up there like this,
he blocked for the hook shots. He left his face wide open, and every time he got punched with the jab.
So it was just sparring time.
That's all that Jake Paul did. He hit him with the jab.
I want to see Jake Paul fight a real boxer like Layla Ali.
Ooh.
Yeah, Muhammad Ali's daughter.
I want to
see her beat the shit out of him.
To be honest with you,
she could do it.
I think she would put the beats on him.
No, she's very fast. She's very fast and strong, agile. She has every attribute that her father had. And if anyone was ever going to save women's boxing, it would have been her. The problem was that she was beating up women. That the only reason they were really in boxing is because it was either that or just live ugly. Just like look the way. It's just one of those things. The man, it's tricky. I had to share to the Podguyz podcast.
Oh wait, I gotta interrupt one time. Yeah. This is the last 10 fights of Jake Paul. He had wins against Ryan Borland, Andre August, Nate Diaz, Anderson Silva, Tyrone Woodley twice, Ben Askren.
Who asked for that a second time, right?
I'm sorry?
Who asked for that a second time?
Oh, the Tyrone Woodley thing?
Yeah.
Nobody.
Yeah, they're like, more Tyrone Woodley.
He had one loss to Tommy Fury, and then the Julio Cesar Chavez, and of course Mike Tyson.
Listen, Jake Paul, the Paul brothers are they don't carry themselves with much class, but they have gotten very far by not having any class. So it's encouraged them to double down every time on what they've been doing to make money, to promote themselves as boxers, whatever. They have a following on YouTube. They have a following everywhere. They have people that
WWE for his brother.
Yeah, they have people that love them. They have people that hate them. I've watched Jake Paul box. The kid knows how to fight to a very experienced degree. The one thing that really pissed me off is when he was doing a charity event. Remember the first time that we had the take on it, Jesse? The Podguyz podcast here. We had the first take that was correct when it came to the Nate Robinson knockout. Everyone online was freaking out, saying like, "Oh, ha ha, he got knocked out." And we got on. We went special live, and then I got into a little rant. Tony got into a little rant about the whole thing about how it's a charity event. You don't knock somebody out at a charity event. They're taking time out of their day, to spar around with you, and
you try to raise money.
You try to physically hurt the guy like a scumbag. Dude's shorter than you, out of your weight class, and you're hauling on him, and then he's celebrating. I knocked him the fuck out, dude. It's a charity event. He's not a boxer. He was an ex-basketball player. What kind of level of scumbag do you have to get to brag about that kind of thing? Next time, put in the kid that has cerebral palsy, and I want you to have that same energy.
I agree 100% with that statement.
The Sparky's got something there on the big board. Sparky, flip that big board around there, my man. Oh, what the heck in Blurrsville right there. I want a better fighter, but he has to be older, more out of shape. And if there is nobody, I will fight John Cena in the Phantom Punch. Can you see me? He wants to fight John Cena because John Cena, well, you can't see him and he doesn't actually hit anybody.
Yeah, you can't see the punch coming.
Yeah. I'll give John Cena some credit. He has worked for over 25 years to push his way into movies and wrestling. And right when you're like ready to accept him being this kind of funny kind of athlete type, to be the white man version of The Rock or whatever, because The Rock needs a vacation. So they're like, well, call John Cena up. And they insert him. This isn't coincidental. This is Hollywood marketing right there. Jesse, have you ever replaced a comedian that you said, wait a second, he's got a beard, he's Italian, and he's a little chubby like I am? What the hell? Were they looking to fill a demographic?
I haven't ever replaced a comedian like that, but I do have a very, very serious story about Mr. Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah.
Ooh, we're ready.
Okay, are we ready?
We're ready.
Okay. So if you need to touch yourself, now's the time.
All right, go for it.
So when I was in high school, they used to do house shows at our high school. And I was on the football team. And Dwayne took all my stuff out of my locker before I got there. So I go into my locker to get my stuff out of it. I see it all over the floor. I ask who did this, because I thought somebody was playing a prank on me. Dwayne came out and said he did it, and with his rock attitude at the time, he called me a jabroni.
Oh, well, it could pass as a jabroni, just throwing it out there.
Right. Yeah. So I told him, I was like, listen, fuck you, Dwayne, and you. You're trash. And if you want to fight, we could fight. So Dustin Rhodes, aka Gold Dust, was sitting there and saying, oh, let the little shithead fight him. And Farouk, aka Ron Simmons, put his hand on my shoulder, which I just want to make it clear, his hand is ginormous. He's like, oh, don't do it, brother, man. So I'm security for the show. That's what the football players did, to kind of raise money and stuff like that, be included, because our football team was just very they were good for a period of time. He comes out to his match and Dwayne actually spits on me. Like, in my face, spits on me.
Wow.
So I went back into the locker room and I tore their entire shit up. Like, tore their shit up to where they wanted a piece of me. I wanted a piece of them. My coaches weren't gonna let me have it. They had to escort me around the entire other side of the school because of said incident, because they thought they didn't know what to think, because I was new to the school and I was not having none of that. Like, I definitely destroyed a pair of his underwear or his work attire.
So you can always put that. That's a resume stopper right there. What did you do in your life? Oh, I was a registered guy. Oh, I stocked shelves. I destroyed the Rock's underwear.
Yeah, that gets you that definitely gets you the second interview at Applebee's. That's for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's the story that does it there. Well, sorry to hear that you were offended by the wrestlers, but you always get what you give and you give what you get, sort of thing. So I totally understand where you're coming from, where if they show disrespect, well, now you show them disrespect. It's no surprise to me that that would be a natural reaction from your end of it. But yeah, so whenever you see Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, is that story always come to mind? Are you now fixated that that's how he is because he spit on you in a Fast and Furious kind of way?
Well, for one, I feel like he owes me an apology. As a comedian slash trying to be
You
an
hear that,
actor,
Rock?
Yeah.
I kind of feel like he owes me an opportunity to be, a small part in a movie.
Yeah, Rock, you owe him. You owe him your fame.
You owe him for him to punch you in the face.
That's right. Even worse, maybe.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't have to, allow me to hit him or anything like that. But if he gets me on a path to where I can succeed on my own and ride off into the sunset, like, we're even.
There you go, Jesse.
It's kind of terrible because we actually do have The Rock on next week. I don't know. I wouldn't say.
Please let him know, like, he's still got a target out in the event that he doesn't want to. It was at Liberty High School.
Mm-hmm.
The year was 1999.
Wait a second, Tony. I'm seeing it here. It's no, it's a Rock impersonator.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Terry Dillinger is a Rock impersonator, and it's not next week. It's 2 weeks from now.
Okay.
My bad. I misread that. Misread that completely.
I put it in the calendar, Kevin.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now, and I got the dates a little mixed up. I thought
that's all right. That's all right.
That's all right.
You know who has it all set up for us?
Who has it all set up for us?
Sparky does.
My God, Sparky, you have it all set up. You flip that big board around. We'll see what Sparky has to say about this whole situation right here. I got his underwear, and I smelled what he was cooking. Behold, I am Captain Skidmarker. Did it go a little something like that, Jesse? No?
That's all right. Know what the skid mark is cooking.
I ripped his underwear and then I urinated in the bag.
There you go. Nothing says class like pissing in somebody's bag.
Listen,
yeah, hell yeah.
They literally threw $1,500 worth of football equipment like out onto the floor. Like, I was like a 15-year-old kid at the time. That's a lot of money for a 15-year-old kid.
It is. So you and The Rock are no longer, you're split up. There was no relationship to begin with. You guys, you'll never talk to each other again, as is the case with Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom, Tony.
Oh.
Now I know what you're thinking.
And the astronaut.
Yeah, that's the thing. He said that the best moments of his life were knowing that she was that far away from him. And then when she said, "Oh my God, did you see how I'm an astronaut now?" He said, "Just go on tour, and tell everybody else about it." The Orlando Bloom Katy Perry love story is over. Let's be honest, Tony. The relationship was always a little hot and cold, a little yes and no, in then out.
They never had fireworks.
No, they didn't. But when she was with him, she was thinking of you.
Wow.
Yeah, the whole time, Tony.
Classy. Yeah, classy.
Yeah, these are all, of course, non-realities. Those are terrible pun lines.
I love the innuendo.
Yeah, set up by Katy Perry's awful songs. Yeah. California Girls are undeniable. I mean, I think that's been done too many times. Beach Boys, I wish they all could be California Girls.
R.I.P. Brian Wilson.
Brian Wilson, musical genius all around, man. You know,
absolutely.
And it's the 82 years old is a hell of a lifetime.
Do you know who almost bit the bullet this week?
Who almost bit Hulk Hogan, right?
Well, I mean, amongst Hulk Hogan as well. Hulk Hogan almost bit the bullet because he had a bad heart valve. That he had replaced, and it was rejection in a system of some sorts. But critical condition in the hospital. Things were looking really rough for a while.
Yeah, I heard that when the doctor was listening to his heartbeat, he went like this. Yeah. He's like,
and then after he was like, no order.
Well, on the doctor's orders, it always said, hey brother, take your vitamins, say your prayers.
Hulk Hogan fucking flatlines, and somebody comes in, 1, 2, gets up.
One of the worst wrestlers ever. Yeah, you guys into wrestling?
Well, I mean, have you seen him in when he did Japan? When Hulk Hogan was in Japan, he was actually doing real wrestling moves back in Japan. I would say he was probably one of the best child performers at the time because kids really looked up to him. He had those, Hulk Hogan, take your vitamin kind of things. He kind of opened the door even more so for wrestlers to get into the movies and stuff. He's definitely on everyone's Mount Rushmore of wrestlers that
not mine.
Well, I mean, yours would be completely biased against the grain then, I would have to say, because he has taken the WCW to the top of the ratings as long as with the WWF to the top of the ratings. So it's got to be some personal animosity. Did he also spit on you? Did Hulk Hogan do that or no?
No, he didn't.
Another one.
I just think that there are better wrestlers. Like, I think Ric Flair is overrated.
Ric Flair is the same. I can give you that. Ric Flair is typically the same match, but as far as in-ring persona, ego, and that, Ric Flair has a lot of viral cuts from his career, where he's going on about his alligator skin boots and shit, but his in-ring performance, as far as what you're pointing at, yeah, absolutely. I'm guessing, Jesse, maybe you were more into the lightweight division for WCW.
No.
All right.
No, I was a Shawn Michaels guy. I later, no, not a Dean Malenko guy. I'm a Click dude. So basically, the Click.
Okay, so like a Hunter Hearst Helmsley or Triple H as he, continued onward. The old 1, 2, 3 Kid, which turned into X-Pac, which turned into,
Six.
Well, he was the Lightning Kid,
Six,
the 1, 2, 3 Kid, X-Pac.
Do you know, the funny thing is, Rick Rude snuck his way into like all three at the same time: ECW, WWF, and WCW.
That was dope. Like, that was a really cool.
You're switching around. Like, is that Rick Rude again? Or
I remember that feeling. Like, what the? But is this guy doing a magic trick real quick?
That's the thing too. Back in the day, before the internet caught everything, like the internet was out there, but it didn't catch everything. You really had to pay attention. You had to be on your game. The internet was charging people $30 a month just to be on the good internet. And the good internet wasn't even that good compared to the worst internet around. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But no, the Attitude Era had a whole thing. Shawn Michaels eventually faded after the Austin 316 promo, where that amount of improv and that delivery, that was what put Stone Cold over the top, including, by the way, Bret Hart's performance. Both wrestler, him and Stone Cold had a great match. Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels had some epic matches throughout their time. I mean, there's documentaries hours long about the Montreal Screwjob, and right when WCW gets Bret Hart, they don't know what the fuck to do with him, which is just the most ridiculous thing I can think. First of all, if you're WCW, give Owen Hart, get the whole Hart Foundation. You can't leave pieces behind. You got to pick up these guys. So you want to get the Hart Foundation. You got that faction to go against the NWO. And WCW, by the way, WCW is just, it's as easy as writing a little bit of a story, like an action thriller, if you want, okay? Where NWO, obviously those are the bad guys. Everything went real sour quick when the Wolfpack came out. And as soon as I heard that shitty theme music, I was like, what the fuck is going on
really
here?
I like
absolutely
that. I like that intro. I
knew at that moment it was the beginning of the end, because now we can't just have the NWO. We need to have the NWO, but they're the color red. It's like having a fucking separate Walmart that's red, Target. Like they're literally the same thing. The lack of creativity with the Wolfpack, where they still call themselves the NWO, doesn't tell me that they're the good guys. It tells me that they're ripping off the NWO to begin with. So I can't really like them that much. So you got Sting with the red face paint, which looked
I
awful.
thought was dope.
I thought that the only person with red on their face that pulled it off ever was Kane. That mask was, he owned it. And that was, remember when he was Isaac Yankem before? Guy's been doing work for a long time.
You know how stupid I feel that I was an adult when I found that out?
Okay, I mean, you don't have to feel stupid about it. It's just it's one of those things that you don't know until you know it. Remember Johnny B. Bad or whatever was also Mark Marrow.
Yes.
WCW to WWF thing. So a lot of these guys have had long careers, and then when they get a hold of the spotlight, man, you don't want to let go of it. There was no storyline at all for and that's another thing. When the WWF knew that the WCW was tickering out of ideas, they said to themselves, oh, well, now we can kind of relax as well, too, because they got a lot of money from merchandising. I mean, a lot of money from merchandising. And when you get that much more money and you're continuing to reinvest it into the future, Vince McMahon became a billionaire. Eric Bischoff became almost broke. Ted Turner will always be rich. Turner, the networks didn't want anything to really do with WCW. Bischoff kind of wanted to buy it, but you don't have the money. You don't have the money.
Right.
It's kind of tough. And then recruiting the talent over and getting the most epic of all crowd noises filtering through. The two people that you hate the most, Jesse, The Rock who spit on you and the Hulk Hogan that broke your heart, both matching up against each other. And the noise, did you ever watch that fight? Holy crap, the volume. The noise is just so much. When the bell rings, the people would not stop. Every hit had a volume pop to it. There wasn't a second in that match that didn't even have a pop. It was insanity.
It was a match that should have happened 10 years earlier.
I agree. Right. 100%. The Hulk Hogan versus the Ultimate Warrior, they tried running that back again, because why write a new script when we know that the old script already worked?
Right.
And that's Terry. Sure. And that's Terry Bollea knowing that there is a new generation of people that didn't get to experience the first fight, but they know it existed, but they didn't get to see it the first time live. So he knows that the entertainment business enough that nostalgia outranks anything new first in his head. And by the way, Disney and every other movie platform has used that, including Netflix now. Netflix is really, you got Adam Sandler doing the Happy Gilmore too. Everyone's excited about it, but if you look at the previews, it's just a bunch of fucking crowd service. It's, oh hey, there's Shooter McGavin. Oh hey, there's the daughter of another old character, or the son of another old character, Carl Weathers, son. Oh, he's got a wooden hand too. And it's like, what the fuck are you guys even doing? Did this movie need to be made? And they said, yes, absolutely, it needed to be made, because now we have you watching it anyways, just to see if it sucks or not. Yes, absolutely, Mike Tyson needed to fight Jake Paul, because we know it was going to be terrible, but you couldn't not watch it. It just was in people's faces way too much.
Did Mike Tyson win that fight?
He did not. He got his ass beat like a 58-year-old guy fighting any 20-year-old at a bar. It didn't really matter. Mike Tyson has got a good amount of brain damage. There was a lot of people saying that he held back. When I watched the fight over, Jake Paul was holding back. He could have whacked him a whole bunch more, man.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Jake Paul was actually doing the classy move where he could have hit him so hard and permanently hurt the guy.
Really?
Mike was biting on his glove at one moment, leaving his whole face open, and Jake could have just whacked him real quick, because the kid's got a quick punch to him. He's got a quick hook. So if you're undersized and you want to kind of get in there, that's why Chavez Jr. was probably doing that, Tony. Still, he's got a pretty quick jab to him as well. Also, making bigger note on Jake Paul, fight somebody relevant, you motherfucker. For the love of God, stop these prop fights. You're at that point in your career where you don't need to do these kind of prop fights. It's just one of those things, though, man. Terry Bollea, a.k.a. Hulk Hogan, has been wrestling for over 35 years. It's been, and it's not just been, oh, is he the best? People were waiting for him to be the best. People were waiting for him to be the champion again. And, there's an ego that comes there too, a big ego, because you are told you are the best in that industry. So, he didn't want to drop the belt. He's had some terrible matches before, remember, and especially in WCW and WWF, hanging out with Tugboat during different promos. They ran out of gas on a lot of these.
I don't think he ever had a good match, to be honest with you.
I would say
anything
the Rock,
prolific was Andre the Giant and maybe the Ultimate Warrior.
The Rock match, you have Andre the Giant, Ultimate Warrior, the first match around. I think when he was fighting against Psycho Sid Justice, those were some pretty good matches right there.
No, I think they were. How do I say this? So they are the nostalgic matches in which you were referring to before, but him as being in the match, his skill level of a wrestler is terrible.
I would beg for you to look up Hulk Hogan versus Muta, the Great Muta, in old Japan, because he was a lot more mobile. He was a lot more lean. He was around, I think it was around 6'7.5", 6'8",
right,
at a 245 tight rip right there, instead of coming in at like 275. He was a lot.
Yeah, but New Japan is way more brutal. So I agree with. Like, Vince wants to put on a show, and I just feel like Hulk's skill set was terrible once he went from like actually wrestling to get bloody, or to put on like a real match, to all right, I'm gonna try and get this done as clean as possible with minimal body damage that appears.
Yeah, the preservation of body has to be there. So the one person that ignored that throughout his whole entire career doesn't even need to be mentioned. Mick Foley, aka Mankind, aka Cactus Jack. Then you have Terry Funk, just putting his life on the line every night. The Sandman. Yeah. If you're a big fan of that type of wrestling, then that's fine. That's still entertaining as all hell. New Jack had some great promos all around. But Jesse, your WWF Mount Rushmore, who would it be?
It would definitely be Shawn Michaels would be number one.
Okay.
Number two would probably be Triple H.
Okay.
Number three would definitely be Bret Hart. And that's crazy for me to say because you can't like Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels.
You can no, your opinion should be unbiased towards the character's approach.
Right.
Like it's not like, oh, well, if you're a Dallas Cowboys fan, you can't say that the Eagles sucked last year after winning a Super Bowl. That wouldn't make any sense. That would be then you lose all credibility of opinion.
I agree. And last would definitely be The Undertaker. Just because of his story went for 30 plus years and he held it down for 30 plus years. And that's got to be hard to do.
Absolutely. 30 years of doing anything is a hard
Right.
situation. I mean, Undertaker for sure would go on my Mount Rushmore. Sparky, who is on your Mount Rushmore? WWF. We've never done this before. The WWF of Mount Rushmore for people that are just joining.
He needs a minute to draw down.
Okay, Tony, you can spit out your Mount Rushmore as well.
As far as really, really amazing people that take a beating every day.
And when I say Mount Rushmore, I want to be 100% clear. You cannot tell the story of wrestling without mentioning these people. Okay?
Agreed.
It is unable to be told.
Agreed.
I am gonna go ECW. And not necessarily the Sandman, but I'm going to go
with WWF specifically, Tony.
WWF specifically, okay.
Correct. Yeah.
You know they did merge, right?
They did merge. That is correct. Yeah. Sam. Okay. So the Mount Rushmore, not the blip of ECW wrestlers that came in there for 4 years. We're talking the encompassing.
Agree. I agree.
Well, I mean, I have a singles and then I have tag teams. But one of the best singles of all time. Mr. Perfect.
Ooh, all right.
Really?
Mr. Perfect getting some love.
Mr.
All right.
Perfect.
Okay. What the hell? Curt Hennig. All right.
Oh, Curt Hennig, man. He had it going on. And all honestly, like his technical prowess was it was perfect. Absolutely perfect, by the way.
Okay.
Not to say that Rick Rude should go into the top 5. He doesn't. Does not.
Okay.
Actually, Dean Malenko goes into my top 5 because I thought that he was a great technical wrestler, but just never got his push.
Okay.
Yeah.
So would you say Dean Malenko?
You got to throw one of the big boys up there. Oh God,
Dean Malenko.
Yeah, I mean he held the titles for a long time.
Hey kid, do you want a Dean Malenko stuffed animal? Who's Dean Malenko?
Steve Austin actually goes into my top 5. Even though he always wrestled hurt or injured in some way. He didn't have the technical value, but his whole speaking aspect was fantastic.
Now I'm gonna give you my Mount Rushmore, and we'll see if mine and Sparky's sync up identically. Okay, because when you think of merchandising alone, okay, you gotta go that route no matter what. So Steve Austin, right there. No problem on that. Merchant, you couldn't go to a fucking fair without seeing 316 anywhere. Hulk Hogan, absolutely changed the game. Did Tropic Thunder. He is internationally well known. Had his own reality show as well. When you think of the WWF and you give me a Mount Rushmore and it doesn't involve Hulk Hogan, the first thing everyone's going to say is, so why didn't you put Hulk Hogan on there? And that's what kind of makes a Mount Rushmore, okay? In my opinion.
So would you throw Roddy Piper up there?
I would think about it. I would put him on a second tier because I think that his runs have been more sporadic due to a lot of injuries. And, the impact that he did or didn't make wasn't always there.
Well, I'm gonna put out a plug real quick for Roots of Fights because they make amazing Roddy Piper hoodies and they're mad comfortable. So
Nice.
I just want like this Griffey shirt came from Roots of Fights as well.
Gotcha.
So if they want to continue, if they want to possibly send me some free stuff for the shout out, like
Roots
we
of
should all.
Pipes, throw Jesse some free stuff. He wants it.
Well, throw it for everybody. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, I'm not greedy like that, but they got some Macho Man, Randy Savage stuff. They got a pink hoodie which I bought, and then I went out and I got a pink hat to go with the pink hoodie because that's how dedicated
Well,
I
you
am.
just named my number 3 right there, Macho Man Randy Savage.
Okay, I won't argue that.
The reasoning for it is you can't say the word Slim Jim and think of, wait, is that what I steal cars with, or is that Macho Man Randy Savage's beef jerky brand that he represents constantly? Anyone says, oh yeah, you think Kool-Aid or you think Macho Man Randy Savage? Everyone has their impression of him in one way or another.
Absolutely.
He's not only gotten away with allegedly sleeping with underage Stephanie McMahon, allegedly, and then Vince McMahon's punishment to Macho Man Randy Savage was maybe you don't wrestle anymore, you can be a commentator. And then he said, I've had enough of that. They said, hey, where's Randy at? And I think you better look at this, Vince. They saw him on TV doing a WCW promo, doing his thing that way. So I would say I would say Stone Cold Steve Austin, Macho Man, Hulk Hogan, and of course, fourth overall, gotta pick the Undertaker. Because if there is one person that was a go-to between August, September, October, November, 4 months, okay? And it rotated around Halloween, Undertaker's big runs, if you looked at it, because you had to do something Halloween themed. And who's more Halloween themed than the Undertaker? Guys literally doing the whole Michael Myers walk across the ropes situation. But Sparky, we might differ. I was thinking about putting Ric Flair or Shawn Michaels on there. I was kind of, on the edge of that. But with that Macho Man Randy Savage's illustrious career being so long in the WWF, WCW, coming back, going forth, there's a definite 3 that I would put up there: Hulk Hogan, Steve Austin, Undertaker. Rock was also a scenario as well, but after I heard that he spits on 15-year-old Jesse, I can't look at him the same way. Sparky, flip that big board around. Owen Hart, Eddie Guerrero, Savage, Bruno Sammartino. Oh my God. Are you just naming dead people, Sparky? What's going on there?
Yeah.
And the board.
Holy crap.
The board is number 5.
The board is number 5.
All things dead.
Yeah.
Owen was actually a better technical wrestler than Brad.
He was actually. Yeah.
And then Eddie Guerrero, he modernized the luchador wrestling and the mainstream of bringing it over.
Okay.
Savage, you got Kevin's arguments, and then you had Bruno Sammartino, who was the champion for 12 years.
He was there for a long time. They had to do a lot with him too, Sparky. You're right on that one as far as historically talking about wrestling. But I think if I never mentioned Owen Hart to anybody, they would still, I think if I said Owen Hart, they'd say, is that, you mean Bret Hart, right? And I said, no, Owen Hart. I think if it begs explanation, then the Mount Rushmore shouldn't really be there. I don't know if we have to, maybe I'm just being particular though, right, Tony?
I think you're looking a little too much into it.
Yeah, maybe.
We gotta end the show anyways. We need to end the show, Kevin.
Yeah, we do. We do have to wrap it up there, Tony.
Jesse, if people are going to reach out to you, sir, how would they do that?
Well, you can reach out to me on Facebook at Jesse Gambino. You can reach out to me on Twitter at Jesse Gambino HD, which stands for Heavy Don. So don't feel weird about it. You can reach out to me on Instagram at comedian Jesse Gambino. You can see me on YouTube. I was on an episode of Springer, so if you ever want to look that up, feel free. It's called Wrestling with Secrets, which is
Why does he just why
I,
does he just mention this now? Why does he just mention that he's been on Springer
know,
right now?
I know.
What the hell, Jesse? What the hell?
I've lived a crazy life, guys. You know what I mean?
Can't
Yeah.
take you anywhere.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
You gave us an entree full of Slim Jims and a creme brulee for dessert, but you saved it for after an hour.
Snap into it, brother.
Ah!
If you guys ever look it up, again, it's called Wrestling with Secrets. If you can ever find it on,
The
I
only
believe.
secret was that you were on Jerry Springer.
That is, you kept it a secret the whole time.
Well, I had to for contract reasons.
It is what
Like
it is.
I can't necessarily tell like the story as much as I'd like to.
Joe's off the air, Jesse. They're not going to sue you.
Sparky, where can you find us if you were looking for us, sir?
You can find us on every single major streaming platform, including iHeart, Spotify, Spreaker, Deezer, Castbox, Pocket Cast, GeoReo, Google, YouTube, Amazon. You can find our merchandise on our Facebook homepage. You can also find us on Facebook Live Video.
And Sparky, you're missing one more that you actually don't have the information about.
That's true, but we're working it.
Oh,
We are working on it, and it will be a together announcement, not a today announcement, but a together future announcement.
Boo.
You want to do it today, Tony?
Do it. Why not?
All right. Future on Roku TV.
Roku TV.
The Podguyz podcast will be a future channel on Roku TV.
Dun 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 dun
I guess so.
dun.
Yeah. Should be interesting. Should be fun. Guys, check out more of the Podguyz podcast every Monday, 10:15 Eastern Standard Time. I am Tony Kaz.
Kevin Nair here.
Of course, we have the ever-loving Picasso.
hey, Sparky.
Big shout out to Jesse Gambino. Look for him.
Thank you guys for
find
having
him.
me.
Look for him. Love him.
Somebody
Yes.
needs to love
Is
me.
the Don Juan of the comedic circle in New York City.
Whatever you do, don't spit on him or he'll piss in your bag.
Ooh,
I will.
shit.
Yeah, a
I will.
lot of fluids exchange there.
He's
I will.
not gonna huck Tua, but he will.
Yeah.
Listen, you gotta go. You gotta go.
Got to do what you got to do. A 20's a 20, right?
That is correct.
Guys, have a great night. We'll talk to you next week. More people, more interviews. We're the Podguyz podcast. Catch you soon. Bye.
Later.